Most people equate California's Lake Tahoe with sporty things. Skiing in the winter, boating in the summer. But we are not sports people, and apparently neither is this guy. Instead, we spent Memorial Day weekend time traveling through Tahoe's many eras, from a Gatsby-era resort tour to a leisurely steamboat cruise to a day trip into the Old West, and reliving our youth with s'mores around a fire like it was Girl Scouts summer camp all over again. And of course, it was a weekend filled with delicious food.
Which one did you get?
In a way, it was our own Taylor Swift Eras tour, just with fewer outfit changes, more marshmallows, and way less physical exertion. In this video, we're heading northish into the Sierra Nevadas for a weekend getaway on Lake Tahoe's South Shore. We traded in our hypothetical skis for flip-flops and explored all the quirky things that Tahoe had to offer. So when you're ready, let's dive in. Lake Tahoe is one of the oldest lakes in North America, a high alpine basin cradled between the Sierra Nevada mountains, straddling the borders of California and Nevada. Formed over 2 million years ago by faults and glaciers, its water is famously clear. You can see more than 70 feet down on a calm day. For thousands of years, the Washoe people, known for their intricate basket weaving, spent summers here, gathering roots and fishing the streams. They believed the lake held healing power, which is something that still feels true today. In the 1800s, Tahoe's forests were logged to support nearby mining towns, but as the years passed, the lake began to change. First, into a summer escape for the wealthy who built sprawling estates. And then over time, Tahoe grew in popularity and accessibility. Roads were paved, ski resorts opened, and Tahoe became a retreat for everyone, for adventure seekers and outdoor enthusiasts to city dweller families looking for a place to get away for the weekend. On the Nevada side, lakeside casinos added a dash of neon to the alpine calm, part of Tahoe's now iconic contrast between nightlife and nature. Today, it's still a retreat, with people doing many of the same things they've done for generations, just with better gear and faster boats. And on this particular weekend, it was our turn to see what Tahoe had in store. We arrived at Lake Tahoe in the early afternoon after a short drive from the Bay Area. The scenery is always gorgeous, going from rolling grasslands to alpine mountains. Our hotel for the weekend was the Beach Retreat and Lodge, which was just a little bit outside the main center of town, but right on the lake. After half a day of driving, we opted for a low-key Friday evening. So low-key that I was lazy about filming and forgot to shoot more video at the Italian spot we ate at for dinner. So please humbly accept my single video that showcases the amazing view from the restaurant and a photo of the delicious lamb chops that I ordered. Saturday morning, we started the day with pancakes at Heidi's Pancake House, which is actually just a short walk from the hotel. It's been serving up meals since 1964 and definitely has some old school retro vibe to it. They really go in hard on the Swiss cottage theme with little touches dotted everywhere. Even your iced tea is served in these giant plastic steins. The menu is pretty extensive. There's something for everyone. It's not gourmet by any means, but it was good and filling and exactly what you think Swiss-themed diner food would be. Belly's full, we headed out for the first activity of the day. So in researching activities for us to do, I learned that Tahoe had some historical sites that you could tour. And being a history nerd and not having anything else planned, I was excited to drag my family along to learn some things. This stretch of lake shoreline was once known as the Tallac Resort, a luxurious summer destination in the early 1900s. Wealthy families from San Francisco and Sacramento would arrive by train, staying in grand estates with servants' quarters and boathouses on the lake. It was Tahoe's Gatsby-era. Think extravagant parties, jazzy suits, and fancy schmancy yachts in the crisp mountain air. There were 3 large estates, and today 2 of them are preserved through a cluster of surviving buildings that you can walk through. We joined a guided tour of the Pope estate, where the docents dressed in period outfits, helping it feel more like you were stepping back in time. I have completely forgotten the name of the super nice lady giving the tour, but the butler was called Frederick, and he kept calling her Madam, so that's her name. Madam and Frederick were full of information regarding the house and the Pope family. They led us through each of the rooms, sharing anecdotes and little tidbits like how George Pope actually referred to the house as the Vatican Lodge, which is meant to be a funny play on their last name. The estate is listed on the National Register of Historic Places, so you're really stepping back into time to see how they lived in the early 1900s. It's a pretty thorough tour. The house is 5,000 square feet, and they take you through mostly everything from the servants' rooms, the bathrooms, the family rooms, the office, the dining area, and ending in the kitchen, all with relics and period pieces to give you a better sense of how they lived back then. They recreated Edith Pope's room as her children remembered it to be, complete with her closet of outfits, dresser items, and a tray of something she typically would have for breakfast, which looked pretty good to me. It was just missing some bacon. George Pope's room is given the same level of detail, and I just love all these tiny mementos that really give you a sense of the person and their history. After going through the upstairs room, Madam and Frederick lead you back downstairs to the dining room, and then through the servants' areas. The kitchen is still a working space where they host a summer program for kids called Kitchen Kids, which is where they learn to bake 1920s recipes, which I think is a really fun way that they're keeping history alive for the next generation. The tour concludes outside, where they then encourage you to explore the rest of the grounds, of which I did while my mom and sister hung out by the lake, pretty much over the history. I thought it was pretty cool that they recreated all the guest houses and the servants' quarters with the same level of detail that they gave to the main house. You were able to get a lifelike resemblance to what it might have been like if you were the nanny, or the butler, the tutor, the chauffeur, the maid, or the gardener. On our way back to the parking lot, we passed by the Baldwin Estate, which is the other preserved estate on the grounds. This mansion was set up more as a museum and were limited in the rooms that you could explore, but it's a good place to pop in and get some info on the area if you weren't able to take the Pope tour. So after our little morning excursion, we took a short break at the hotel before we headed over to Zephyr Cove Resort for a 2-hour lake cruise aboard a classic paddlewheel steamboat. To get on the boat, you do have to enter the resort area, and there is a parking fee to get in, which depends on the season. For the tour itself, you can book your tickets online, but you also have the option to buy them at the dock when you get there. The area in front of the boat dock is really nice. They have a restaurant near the water and a mile-long stretch of beach that you can hang out to swim or do rentals. The boat's name is the MS Dixie II and is named after the original MS Dixie that was brought over from the Mississippi River. It has 3 passenger decks, including 2 climate-controlled levels, an open-air seating level, a bar, and a full restaurant. We started out on the top level during the initial launch, but headed indoors after a while to get my niece out of the sun. You can order food and drinks on each of the indoor levels, but if you go down to the third bottom level, you'll find much shorter lines. So like I said, the tour is about 2 hours long and it takes you right across the lake to Emerald Bay, where it shows you one of the other Gatsby-era mansions called Viking's Home Castle. It's not accessible by car. You can either hike down to it from the main road or arrive by boat. One of the rich ladies of the time, Miss Laura Josephine Knight, built this for her summer home and wanted it to resemble a Scandinavian castle, so hence the name. We were told she would have her butler take her and her guests by boat to this little island in the mornings to have their coffee. Ah, rich people and their quirky ways. The weather for this tour was perfect. A clear, sunny day that really showed off the blues of the lake. It was just a really chill, affordable way to enjoy the lake without the price of renting your own boat. We capped off the evening back at the hotel fire pit with pizza, wine, and s'mores. Lazy filming was the theme of the weekend, so while I didn't share the videos we got of the delicious pizza we DoorDashed, I did remember to show the tasty marshmallows we roasted. The hotel gives out free kits every night, which is a brilliant hospitality move if I may say so. We ended the day watching the sun set on the lake, and I don't think there could have been a more picturesque ending. Early Sunday morning, my mom, niece, and I snuck out while my sister slept in. We found this cute little cafe that was highly rated and served empanadas. Because babies like to get up at the butt crack of dawn, we were the first ones there and really got to enjoy the vibe of the place before the Sunday morning crowd started filling in. I recommend you guys come check this place out. They have lovely greenery everywhere, and the coffee and the food were delicious. My mom got a latte and I got a matcha, and they were so good that we got 2 rounds. Obviously, I ordered the empanadas to eat. One was spinach and cheese and the other was chorizo, and both were really tasty. My mom got their almond bliss waffle, which was so good. Guys, you won't be disappointed if you come here. Unless you hate waffles and empanadas, then I guess don't come here, but you do you. For the rest of Sunday, we actually took a day trip out to Virginia City, which was just an hour's drive from Lake Tahoe. I already have that trip up in a video if you guys want to check it out for a deeper dive. When we came back, we were starving and ended up choosing this Thai restaurant, Orchid, for dinner. We had a few dishes to share, with the som tam being the highlight. Everything was pretty good, and what I liked was that their dishes were not as sweet as you can find at some other Thai establishments. Exhausted from a long day, we went straight to bed. The next day was our travel day back to the Bay Area. Instead of heading straight home, we took the scenic route north up alongside the lake so that we could stop at the Donner Pass Memorial Site, a historic spot that's been on my bucket list for years. I'll cover that in a separate video on my whole California road trip, so be sure to catch that when it drops. After checking out of the hotel, we made a stop over at Keys Cafe for some breakfast burritos to grab for the road. It's hidden a little bit off the main road, but if you see the ski bench outside, you know you found it. The interior is really cute. It's got that quirky California mountain vibe going on. Oh, and the salsa for the burritos was legit. And obviously you're not seeing it because lazy filming, remember? Burritos in hand, we made another quick pit stop at the Emerald Bay Vista Point, which was just about a 15-minute drive from the hotel. This is where you could hike down to visit Viking's Home Castle if you wanted to see it. So that was our Tahoe weekend getaway. A lazy little reset with plenty of tree-scented mountain air and just enough time travel to remind us how many eras can live in a single weekend. If this is your first time coming to Lake Tahoe, I've got a few tips to help you plan your visit. Let's get into some travel notes. So like I mentioned earlier, Lake Tahoe straddles the California and Nevada border, and each side has its own vibe. We stayed on the South Shore, which is a bit more lively, has more resorts, and has all those Nevada casinos if that's your thing. If you want something more quiet and scenic, North Lake has great beaches and a bit more of an upscale feel. The West Shore is full of old Tahoe charm and has historic spots like Vikings Hole. The East Shore is rugged with scenic hidden beaches, and I'm pretty sure there's a nudist beach out that way too, so do with that information what you will. So to get around town, a car is helpful, but it's not required. They do have public transportation and ride shares. We also saw a lot of people riding around on e-scooters and bikes, so you have that option as well. If the paddle wheel cruise is on your list, we did the Zephyr Cove Resort Tour. I always recommend booking things ahead of time, but we were able to reserve tickets for the 3 of us the night before, which was surprising for a holiday weekend. It's a great way to take in those classic Tahoe views while having lunch or dinner on board, because they offer morning, afternoon, or sunset tours. To check out the Tallac Historic Site, we used this website. There's really no bad time, in my opinion, to visit Tahoe. It just depends on what you want to do. If you're down to do winter sports, then obviously go in the wintertime. Memorial Day weekend, which is when we went, is in the shoulder season. There's still some snow in the peaks, there are fewer crowds than there are in the summertime, and the lake is still a little cold, but it's swimmable as you saw in the footage. If you want warmer swimming weather though, late July to early September is going to be your time frame. So regarding altitude in the sun, Tahoe does sit about 6,200 feet above sea level, so you're going to want to make sure you stay very hydrated. And the sun is stronger at this elevation, so make sure you bring your sunscreen and sunglasses. So the last thing I want to talk about is keeping Tahoe blue. You're going to see these stickers with that campaign everywhere you go, and it's for a good reason. The lake's clarity is legendary, but it's not guaranteed. So don't be a trash hole, pick up after yourselves, pack your garbage, skip the glitter sunscreen, and leave no trace. Alright, well thanks for tagging along. If you want to see more from this road trip, check out the day trip that we did to Virginia City. It's a totally different vibe. So see you guys in the next video. Stay curious and keep exploring.